What you doing at the I'm saying, oh, not Y'all enjoying this or not, Plano? That's what I like to hear. Look, there's a music video for this bad boy, so you gotta see it. Let me rock with it. Let's go, let's go. Y'all still with me out there? I didn't know.
Ready? Here I come, yeah, I'm off of #1. Here I come,
Smokem records.
I got you high strung. Here I come,
Shit's epic, motherfucker.
back with that mean shit, fuck that clean shit.
You better
I'm
step
all
your
about my
game
dirt,
up.
Here I come, yeah, I'm off of #1. Here I come, I got you high strung. Here I come, back with that mean shit, fuck that clean shit. I'm all about my dirt, bitch.
I got competition running like a track meet, and when they hear the beat, chitter chat sees. I'm on my knees, telling God please to send me a great tasting rapper to eat. In my tummy, taking nothing from it. No emotions attached, I ain't no fucking dummy. If you think I said your name, fuck 'em, I'm gonna get 'em on the stage, on the backyard. Oh, you act hard. Submission, better listen, you missing your bad card. Doodle chaser, smoke comes to blaze ya. I couldn't way beyond just a phase ya. I'm the great white hope, in case you forgot. I'm that crazy white boy that don't give a fuck from the block. I'm a motherfucking monster, a nuisance, when you looking like the motherfucking Fresh Prince.
Here I come, yeah, I'm off of #1. Here I come, I got you high strung. Here I come, back with that mean shit, fuck that clean shit. I'm all about my dirt, bitch. Here I come, yeah, I'm off of #1. Here I come, I got you high strung. Here I come, back with that mean shit, fuck that clean shit. I'm all about my dirt, bitch.
I'm cocky, I don't give a fuck, cause I'm drunk as fuck, and I had enough, and I'm busting nuts on you fucking chumps. Bitch ass rappers, stiletto pumps, yeah, I'm a beast, bitch, I ain't scared to bust. If you got the magic wand, fairy dust, better go home, better switch face, I'll put you on, bitch, so know your place. Hard as a motherfucker, y'all say him, I say man, all these people say damn. Smoke is hot like Prof Juggernaut, metal for real, Robocop. Come and get it, beat killer, walk a thin line. You don't like me, I run this cause I shine. Time to ride, bring the pain if I have to. I'm ready to win, stand tall, Mr. Master.
Yeah, I'm off of #1. Here I come, I got you high strung. Here I come, back with that mean shit, fuck that clean shit. I'm all about my dirt, bitch.
I've been in it for a minute, ain't gon' stop. Hit 'em with that good shit, even rap rock. Now it's time, here I come. How it's time, it's mine, it's all mine.
Here I come, yeah, I'm off of #1. Here I come, I got you high strung. Here I come, back with that mean shit, fuck that clean shit. I'm all about my dirt, bitch. Here I come, yeah, I'm off of #1. Here I come, I got you high strung. Here I come, back with that mean shit, fuck that clean shit. I'm all about my dirt, bitch.
your middle finger. Yeah, he said, she said, hey, see what up? Get up on the back row, quick and through, step it up. She said, step it up, it's all the girl. I showed everybody to watch. Everybody down here. That's how we go, we to the top of the up. 3, 2, 1, come on, people, let you be what you wanna be. LC, what they wanna see. Good. Nothing like something. Something like hotel love. They see what I need to. Back in my back, you give me up on my house. Nothing like something. Nothing like hotel love. They see what I need to. Nothing like something love. Nothing like hotel love. They see what I need to. Nothing like something love. Nothing like hotel love. They see what I need to. Yeah.
Cause this prison sentence changed me from the GBODB to BlondeBabyGlitch. Fuck with all that talking, I be creeping at your window. I'm to deal my demons and my drugs and shit I can't fall. 7 feet of rope, braid around my throat. A lovely nine that represents so I've been failing just to cope. Fentanyl, hydrocodone, melatonin, paste dust. Need that just to sleep, so when it's 3 I do not wake up. I'm pumping my brain full of chemicals I can't erase on the system, and I cannot feel on my face, so I cut it all open. I'm hoping it stays, because if it does not, then somebody gets spared with the juice, and I hope that you drown out my pain when you know you can't fuck with the shallow grave, thinking these thoughts are the enemies I wanna eliminate.
Six-digit boy, Alchemy, Dep Dog, Killer Cutter, Lil Bobby, but you might know me as Daddy's D-Boy. It's Lil Bobby, though. I got this motherfucker hopping on. They hating on me, better knock it on. I'm still the same, it's Lil Bobby, though. Daddy's D-Boy, Lil Bobby Boucher. I'm that water, boy. I think you oughta watch your mouth about that Bobby, boy. I'll probably rob you, Robert Roddy, like I'm Roddy, boy. I'll pop up with that top up, then I click clack, that's that shotty, boy. And that's word to them, I Bob smurder them. They want beef, good grief, I Bob burger them. I Bob poke, they won't let Bob burden them. Nobody Bob burner, Bob Boulay, I know you heard of him. I got this motherfucker hopping on. They hating on me better. Knock it off. I'm still the same better. Hop it though. That East boy still hop it though. I got this motherfucker hopping on. They hating on me better. Knock it off. I'm still the same better. Hop it though. That East boy forever. It's Bobby baby, Bobby rude. I'm in the mood to get a nude and acting lewd and eat that pussy like it's food. Bitches want that shish kebab, they need to holler if they do. But if your bitch is trying to fuck me, then I'm probably gon' do it. I run the town and hump around like I'm Bobby Brown. She bobbing, knobbing, popping crown, and I'm probably down. She in the lost and found and getting tossed around. I'm Bob McDonald, I Big Mac and bring that sauce around. That East boy still high. I got this motherfucker hopping on. They hating on me better. Knock it off. I'm still the same still high. That East boy still high.
When you're making a wave in a small town lake, they're hearing your name, then you hit a wall. Knew it happened one day because they knew that you'd break. Just a matter of time before they watch you fall. But no one ever really talks about it anyway. Too busy keeping up on choices other people made. That's just how it goes, and it shows. When you grow up in a small town and everyone knows about the wrongs and rights and things you wish you can hide. When you grow up in a small town, they don't let you live it down. Throw dirt on your name before they know what they say. It's not just dirt roads, just dead end streets. The corner where he said and she said meets. When you grow up in a small town. I think you know I've been around the block a time or two. I'm a little rough around the edges, but it's nothing new. Judging by the rumors, you already think it's true. But I don't mind it if the good will let me pass on through. That's just how it goes, and it shows. When you grow up in a small town and everyone knows about the wrongs and rights, the things you wish you can hide. When you grow up in a small town, they don't let you live it down. Put dirt on your name before they know what they say. It's not just dirt roads, just dead end streets. The corner where he said and she said meets. When you grow up in a small town. When you grow up in a small town, small town. keep your feet on the ground and the head in the clouds. If you grew up in a small town and know what I'm talking about, it'll make things change so you can break these chains. When you grow up in a small town and everyone knows about the wrongs and rights, the things you wish you can have. When you grow up in a small town, they don't let you live it down, put good on your name before they know what they say. It's not just dirt roads, just dead-end streets, the corner where he said and she said meets. When you grow up in a small town, when you grow up in a small town, small town. Oh, you know, yeah, you know. When you grow up in a small town. Met this girl in the winter of 2009. She mighty fine, pretty lady, made me stop on the dime. I was waiting, little baby didn't give me a sign. Couldn't wait, oh baby, she was one of a kind, she was mine. I feel like that's the way that it's supposed to be. She was checking out and I was working in the grocery. Hopefully, she could feel the vibe and take a note of me. Wanted to holler at her, but I thought she was to know me. Made eye contact, so I walked back. Like, yo, can I help you? Then she grabbed my hand. What you doing after this? I said, oh, not crap. Put her head up on my chest, I told her I want that and knocked out. Go beer, had a long hard week, hanging with you with your Friday night. Girl, you know, just pick up that phone and we're going on a wild ride. And when I'm gone, you alone, baby girl, I'm only one call away. Baby, let's escape with your feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard. Looking good with a beer in your hand, sitting in my passenger seat. Singing songs and I'm singing them wrong, just to get you laughing at me. And your smile make a man go wild, oh baby, what happened to me? Your lips so sweet, got me catching the buzz while you sipping on that twisted tea. Girl, this kind of buzz make a man turn up, kissing on your neck and I lift your shirt up. Yo, baby, I ain't looking for a fast break, I'm just trying to change your last name. Cold beer, had a long, hard week, hanging with you with your Friday night. Girl, you know, just pick up that phone and we're going on a wild ride. And when I'm gone, you alone, baby girl, I'm only one call away. Baby, let's escape with your feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard. Cold beer, had a long hard week, hanging with you with your Friday night. Girl, you know, just pick up that phone and we're going on a wild ride. And when I'm gone, you alone, baby girl, I'm only one call away. Baby, let's escape with your feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard. With your feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard. With your feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard. Feet on my dashboard.
Whoa, we're live! You guys are finally here.
What's up, dude?
Not much. Tonight, Cody Live Podcast, we got Mumbo Jumbo putting some random questions on, putting the pressure on these artist promoters, everything else. Finally got my setup here. I finally got my podcast set up the way that I wanted it to, like the setup around me and shit. So hopefully it makes me smarter, because they said organization makes you smarter, but I think that was actually the result of falling on my head as a kid out of a Kmart cart. I don't think that. No, we got some plenty of special guests in the building tonight, multiple genres. We're still waiting on Randy, but he's gonna chime in when he can get on. And then Jacob Gibson will be joining us around 10:30, and we'll get him caught up. Always a joy to have him. This is Cody, my co-host DJ The Ha. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, guys?
And let's start introducing the artists and get to the questions and the fun nitty-gritty stuff. I've been doing this a different way. I'm sorry that you guys are in like the chat things wondering like, what the fuck? You didn't put me on. I've been introducing you guys one at a time. That way it gives you time to talk. Tell people what you got coming up. Tell people what you're about, what you've done in music, how long you've been in music. First off, we got a friend of the show who's been on a couple of different episodes. BBG, what is good?
Hey, what's going on, guys, man? It's BlondeBabyGlitch out here for representing Shallow Grave, man. What's going on?
What's going on?
Shit. You ready for the challenge of all these cool-ass questions that I've already sent you guys?
I mean, about as ready as I'll ever be, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we mix genres up on this one, and I always like doing that, especially because Chad, he's kind of he's got a rock background. He don't really have a hip-hop background, so I think that's where we mix. And I decided to bring one of my country buddies on, who's also been involved in the rock scene. We got Joe Lewis in the motherfucking building. What's up, Joe?
What's going on, dude?
Yo.
Hey, Joe. Long time no see.
Hey,
Oh,
Chad.
shit.
How you doing, man? Been a long time since
What up, dude?
Yep.
Wait, you guys know each other?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Where you
Underground
guys know
days,
each other
bro.
from? I need a background on this.
Back in the Hillsdale Underground days.
Yep.
Oh, shit. All righty. Well, that was kind of a surprise. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yep.
Well, actually, let's get to the questions. We'll just start right away. I know we got plenty of them tonight that if aspiring artists are tuning in, they could use this valuable info. I know a lot of you guys have accolades, some really good accolades, and there's a reason that you have those. And just kind of sharing the info as we go. That's what the show's about. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong, and yeah, it's all informative. So we'll start with the first question. We're gonna ask Joe first. Joe, being new to the show, what do you think is the key to transform your everyday fan, somebody who might show up to a show maybe once and say that they support you, but they don't really buy the CDs. They just they tell people about you and stuff, into a fanatic, somebody who's just a diehard about your music?
I would say it's making them feel like they're part of the experience. I think that's any concert goer. Their main goal is to feel like they're part of something. And if you include them and have a personal experience, like you have some of those artists that play a show, they just show up, do their sound check, go back to their trailer, and then they go on stage when it's time to play, and then when they're done, go back to their trailer. And then you have other artists that are like, they show up early, they do their sound check, they go out, they talk to the people that are there, try to get them engaged with them, and then play their show. And then afterwards, they want to stick around and talk to people and get to know the people that are listening to them. I think that's a goal of mine, is to kind of get engaged with the listeners. And even, you don't know, maybe they are first time concert goers, and you're gonna set that that vibe for them, to like, man, I really liked that, I want to come back, I want to go to a show. But not only that, they're going to remember you as an artist, and they're going to be like, dude, he was my first concert, I'm going to go check it out again, you know?
Yep. Absolutely. Punctuality with fans, and like sitting at the merch table. That's something that I really commend you on the Morency show that we did. That's the only one we've done together.
But sitting there and being there the whole entire night. I mean, you had your setup, obviously, but being there the whole entire night, supporting every single act there, and that just it shows what type of artist you are too, and what type of person on the side. Because a lot of artists don't do that nowadays. It's mostly, they go in, do their show, hang out in the parking lot, have their beers out there, don't give a shit about nobody else. But when you actually show other people that, hey, I'm humble as fuck, it's a major, major plus, especially when trying to get booked again, which we'll bring up later on the show.
Absolutely.
BBG, what do you think? What's the key to transform your everyday fan into a fanatic?
I'd have to say Joe pretty much nailed it on the head. Apart from that, I would have to say, from my personal experience, like getting to know your audience. That's always a very important thing. Getting to know what they want out of you, what they hope to see, what kind of music they want to hear from you, interacting with them on a personal level, not just at shows, but online, presenting yourself as a presence, not just in real life, but in the digital world as well.
I totally agree. Sorry, I had to mute my mic. My son's in the room showing me some Paw Patrol stuff. Daddy, look.
It happens.
Daddy, look. Daddy's trying to go podcast, goddamn it.
Oh, kids, man.
Kids are the best.
Yeah.
What about you, Chad? What do you think is the key to transform your everyday fan into a fanatic?
So from my point of view, I would have to agree with Joe and Baby Glitch. Just the fact that, if you're willing to hang out and get to know the people that are actually like at the venue, and venue being, a backyard party or, the 55 Below or even Harpo's in Detroit, as long as you are mixing with your audience and you give them something to remember. It kind of goes like back to what we were talking about last week and the week before about like, the difference between the digital advertising and the old fashioned way of actually physically handing somebody a flyer, a CD, a tape, or whatever the case is. If you put a face behind the name, you're more, you're more likely to remember them. I mean, it's no different than when we go to shows, even as artists.
Right.
I mean, you're going to remember the dude that you had a 5-minute conversation outside, smoking a cigarette or weed, whatever you guys do. You're going to remember them over the guy that's just hanging out in the corner somewhere and won't talk to anybody.
Right. I totally agree. I think something that I've really studied over the years is kind of eye contact during a concert, especially during personal songs. I think the live show could have something to do with it because if they're feeling it and they see that you're feeling it, they feel that you're really connecting that way, and then they come up and talk to you after a show. Mm-hmm. Be really humble with them. And like my merch table, like everybody, if you have a merch table, normally you have something that doesn't cost a lot, a sticker or a wristband that maybe costed you $1.67, and somebody comes up like, hey, I love your music, this and that. Hey, let's get you hooked up. I'll give you a free sticker, a free wristband, and then they got that to remember you, to go look you up. And that's one way that I found the eye contact, making them feel the songs and stuff. I think that, and plus, like if they're having a problem on Facebook, I'm one of those ones to just like reach out, and I think people respect that too. And it's helped me along the way personally. Yep. But I'm like where you guys went with that. That was really good.
Hey, can I butt in real quick, Cody?
Sure.
While you've been talking and the other two dudes were talking, I was thinking about something that has to do with the whole live show, and you kind of nailed it, like with making that eye contact and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But like, let's take that a step further, just for a quick second. It's like, don't play the shit that you don't believe yourself.
Right.
Like from like if you write your own stuff and you go out and you're just doing an all original night, don't play the songs that you don't even fully believe yourself.
Right.
So.
Right. I feel it, and that's one big thing. And if you're writing the songs, I mean, obviously they should be somewhat real to you, anyways.
Yep.
All right, we'll get on to the next question. I freaking lost it. Oh my god, I'm so unorganized. My life is crazy.
Life of a dad.
We'll start. Yeah, pretty much. We'll start with Joe on this one. What do you think is the importance of contracts in the music business? Should they be used more, just to kind of lock down the deals, whether it comes to shows, recording contracts, anything?
Absolutely. The importance of having a contract, I think, it should be top priority, only because of the fact that this industry is not guaranteed. There's no guarantee, because of circumstances of one thing I always told my guys when we were touring is we shouldn't count on that money. Do not count your eggs before they hatch, is what they're saying, is simply because something can happen where the bar is like, hey, last minute, we have to cancel. Something happened. Or your drummer gets sick, or something happens where anything could happen where the show could get canceled or postponed or rescheduled or canceled in general. And then now you're out of money. And if you're counting on that, it could put you in a bad situation. Not only that, financially, it could save you in the liability sense of, if you're playing at a venue and you have, your band has a collective of like $100,000 of gear, and you're playing at a venue that has 100-year-old power, not updated, anything could happen. And now if you play, something happens and nobody's covered on each end, you're out. You're out money. And so contracts have saved me numerous times. I've been in a situation where I've showed up to a show, a private party on a private property, and people get drunk. People are drinking, and someone ended up leaning up against a brand new QSC speaker that we had, a 12 15, and they knocked it over, and it busted, it blew the speaker. And we didn't have a contract with them. Luckily, the people were they were good on their word, and they took care of us. But if they didn't, I wouldn't be able to do anything as far as like, hey, other than, hey, you blew my speaker, you need to pay for it.
Right. Holds no legal weight.
Well, it's just it holds everyone accountable, and not only that, it's just a professional manner of hey, we take our business very seriously. And I want to engage appropriately with you. So that's why I think contracts are always important.
Right. I definitely agree with that. And that's one of the things holding the money back and never relying on the money that I learned with the band, doing the band thing for the first time. And, you met Alex at the show, Agatha Hag. He kind of told us, like, set the money back in the band fund. You never know when you're going to have tires replaced or an oil change, or you're broke down on the side of the road for any numerous reason, or a piece of equipment goes out. Let's get the money that we have, spend that on the touring part, put a lot of the profit back, at least half of all of our earnings back. And that way it's covered. We don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
And we contracted a lot of the shows too. We've kind of learned our way, and I've learned a lot through him with especially the touring part of things, because you can really get fucked out on the road.
Oh yeah.
All right, BBG, what do you think is the importance of contracts in the music business?
I say contracts are paramount for everybody involved, for labels, for whoever you're working with, for venues, most especially for artists. I would say if you're intending to collab with somebody that's on a bigger label and they need a contract, you should understand at least some of the terminology. And if you just simply can't, get a lawyer who can, plain and simple, because you are not trying to get screwed out of whatever profits is going to come from that. And you're not trying to get screwed on any sort of copyrights that could come from that track. Like, for example, if there's a sample that wasn't cleared until after the fact, because as Joe had already said, nothing is guaranteed. There's always going to be some shady stuff afoot in one way or another.
Yep.
So everything, if it's written out in paper, it's automatically validated at that point, and you're safe.
Right. You're kind of saving your own ass, and the opposing party saving their ass at the same time with some
Absolutely.
stuff. Chad, what do you think is the importance of contracts in the music business?
So from my point of view, the most important part is like you should always have some sort of agreement. It doesn't have to be like a formal legal, layout per se, but at least always have a clear, piece of communication, be it via Facebook, text message, indicating what you paid, because all that stuff will hold up in court if you need to go down that road. And unfortunately, I had to go down that road, with a band way back in the day. But I always make sure it is in writing in some way, shape, or form. Be it a show agreement, and what you pay is. Be it, if you're getting involved with like recording companies or, distribution companies, any of that stuff, absolutely. Make sure there's some sort of, legal document in place where they clearly outline what they're going to do for you and what you're supposed to do for them. And like Baby already said, if you don't understand it, go pay the $100, $200, or whatever a lawyer is going to charge you to review that document and make sure it's legit.
Right.
Don't just willy-nilly sign whatever is being put in front of you, because you're going to end up getting screwed.
Yep.
And then just like Joe said, if you don't have contracts in place, a promoter or a venue owner or even a record label or whatever, they might look at you like you don't know what the hell you're doing, and they're not going to take you serious either.
Right.
Right.
It's a big sense.
I wanna add to that, because we're here to be informal. So if anybody watches this and they're like, a contract, or who would I talk to about setting that up? There are, and it sounds, I've explained it to people, they're just like, they don't get it, but there are lawyers that are specifically, they do work specifically for entertainment. They're entertainment lawyers. They're not for like legal, they're not for any other purpose. They only specifically work for entertainment. And so it's just a matter of researching who specifies in that field. So I would advise anybody, if they were looking into like, man, who do I talk to about like what guidelines I should follow as far as booking with a contract, I would look into people that actually have worked with entertainment lawyers, and they can give you the proper legality to wherever you're at, because different states have different rules as far as what's legal in Ohio when it comes to entertainment, or Indiana or Michigan or Pennsylvania, Tennessee, whatever it is. So
right. Yep, an entertainment lawyer, that's definitely a vital thing too to look in if you're going to sign a recording deal. I think nowadays, with as many young artists as there are out there, they get a number put in their face and they don't really think about it. They never really look it through, and that's why you hear maybe one hit out of them, and then they just fucking disappear. Or they get caught in a 360 deal to where, you sign for that $1 million, but you got to make that $1 million back for that label. Otherwise, you owe the label money. But they don't read that. They see the $1 million. They're young. They're balling. And then all of a sudden, you just don't see them no more. And I think that's a big thing. As far as the entertainment lawyer, that's a big thing. And I tell people when they're like, hey, man, I'm looking to get signed, this and that. And there's books out there to educate yourself about it. One thing that I would recommend, that I give a lot of the young artists that come to me for advice that I built relationships with, is it's Everything You Need to Know About Music by Donald S. Passman. It tells you
that book is a lifesaver, man.
It is. And just reading through it and just what you actually should do, like the steps you actually have to take. And a lot of people don't grasp the concept, or they don't want to read and put in the time, but it's so educational. Donald S. Passman puts out some damn good books as far as the legal side and just marketing yourself right. What's up?
For some reason it's like super laggy on my side. I can hear you guys talking. just fine, but the video is like really throwing me off. But you know, just to elaborate on that just a tiny little bit more is you know, just because you have a contract in place, you know, it will protect you after the fact in case the you know, the other party that you're doing business with is not holding up their end of the bargain. You know, yeah, you might have to take them to court and all that good jazz, but you know what? As long as that piece of paper is in hand, or even that Facebook conversation or your text message conversation, you know, at least you have something that says, yeah, hey, this dude was supposed to pay me $200 for the show.
Right.
And if he didn't, you know, if you want to go spend the $50 and take it to court, more power to you, because you can prove it.
Right.
You know, because then you're gonna get paid. You know, it might take a while, but you know, it just protects yourself. And then, in regards to the 360 deal, Cody, that shit needs to be needs to be made illegal.
There's a lot of young artists going through that.
I know that shit is you know, taking advantage of all the young kids that don't know their ass from the hole in the ground. Right.
Right. And I think one thing about these type of podcasts and people who try to do what I'm trying to do with this podcast is that the kids can get informed. The people that are coming up, just starting out, that are damn talented. You see so many people getting fucked over with so much talent. But I think that if you have people who have been through some of the ropes and kind of know what's going on, to actually tell them and inform them, it's definitely a positive thing. Because I'll be honest, a lot of artists don't. In my come up, they didn't like to give advice.
Gatekeeping is a simple term for that.
Yep.
Oh man, we got the kids on here. Oh shit! I'm gonna bring them in. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where are they? Ah, look at. Say hi, Dad.
Oh man.
Say hey. Oh, say hi to your dad. Hi. Hey.
Oh man.
There you go.
It was nacho night.
Ooh,
but I don't like
very
mine.
Nice.
These are kiddos, Joe?
That's my son.
Is it? That's awesome.
Nice.
He's at his grandma's house.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that's wholesome.
Oh, dude.
Man. So how's everyone out there?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, we're good. Thank you.
We're good. We're just waiting for you guys to bring it on.
All right.
All right, we can get to the next question real quick, and this next one's actually really good. One second,
All right.
We'll keep him in, but
All right.
the next question we're gonna aim at Joe for it. This is notorious throughout all genres of music. Even in country, you see artists coming up with independent labels, like the Ryan Upchurches, the Adam Calhouns, the country rap side mostly. I don't know very many like independent country artists right now that are huge. But as far as a label deal, what would you prefer, an independent label deal or a major label deal, and why?
Independent, 110%.
Yep.
So social media, the reason I say that, social media is such a powerful tool that what you used to have to go through a major label to get recognition, anybody could build a following off of social media and get just as much traction as a major artist can these days. And you hear about it all the time. These TikTok people, these people that are on TikTok or Instagram, Facebook lives, they're normal people with great talent, but they just don't have the money or the means to get in front of a large label or a record company of any kind. So with that being said, it opens the doorway to be able to do your own thing as far as having your own, starting your own label. If you have a following of your own, you know what I'm saying, and you take the right steps with it, you can start your own career in music virtually by yourself. And if you have a loyal following and fan base, they will support you, and that will get noticed. I mean, wherever there's money to be made and it's not being made, someone's out there looking to capitalize on it. My buddy Sean, I'll give you a good example. So Sean Williams, he's been an artist. I've been working with him for years, as far as like playing shows with him and stuff. He's a personal friend of mine. Well, he went down to Nashville, and he's a phenomenal songwriter, but he just wasn't fucking doing it. He wasn't getting the traction that he was wanting after the grind. He was grinding it out for years, and he was playing every day on Broadway, the Music Row. He was doing this for years, and he burned out. He was just like, dude, this is fucking stupid. I'm putting in all this time, grinding it out, writing every day, playing shows, 3 shows a day, all day, and nothing in Music City. Well, he took a break. He went down to Florida. He was playing down in Florida and just recently in this last year, he made a TikTok account, and he started posting his original music on there, and it caught traction. People were like, damn, this dude's good. He has a great voice. He has a great writing. And he is now, he has millions of followers now on TikTok. TikTok got a hold of him. They reached out to him. They're like, hey, you have a lot of our clients following you. Do you want to do this tour as an original artist that are famous on TikTok as original artists? So it opened up this door for him to be able to start on this own platform, to where he's on this fast track without having a major label behind him. Excuse me, a major label, to where it opens that doorway to be independent. Now he doesn't have to follow somebody else's guideline or anybody else's rule. And there's plenty of artists out there. I can't think of them out right now, but there's plenty. Muscadine Bloodline, they're independent. They're huge, but they're not on mainstream radio, but they're huge, and they're gonna be huge. But they've done all the work independently, and they've seen more results independently than they have from any major label. So I would encourage every day of the week independent label as opposed to major label.
Okay. And Zach Bryan, he's independent still, ain't he?
What was that?
Zach Bryan?
Yeah.
Yep. That's one of my favorite artists right now. And it's like, you don't hear him on the radio, but that dude's voice is so fucking good. And you look at his shows, he's packing them out, and you got to think, like, he's probably making more than a lot of the major artists who aren't fucking, like, top tier, but somebody who was just signed by, he's making more doing those shows independently, like, way more, because he's got a lot less bills. There's no middleman.
Absolutely.
All right, BBG, how do you feel about it? Major label versus independent. It's a big, big thing in hip hop.
It is a big thing in hip hop. I would have to say for myself, independent. From like, I guess my whole thing is, how much of the creative freedom am I being allowed at the end of the day? Am I allowed to actually produce my own craft, or is there going to be some sort of cookie cutter bullshit they want me to make? Because there's a reason these guys are trying to sign me, is because they like what I'm putting out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'd say, like, aside from the money stuff, I'm not really big on piggybacking off other people's answers, because Joe pretty much killed that whole answer as far as like what you can make independently versus a bigger label. No, I don't know how much more needs to be said on it. He nailed that right on the head. For me, the creative aspect was the most important topic, was how much am I actually allowed to make of my own music?
Right.
That's, I mean, I'll interject right there. Is like, I think it's just something that we've all, including Chad up there, is we've been playing music, these live shows for years now, and we bump elbows, you know, we brush elbows with people that have been through the industry, maybe at a higher level than us or lower, but I think it just comes down to that truth of that. If major label, they're just looking to capitalize, they want to capitalize. It's always about money. It's always gonna be about money. And as opposed to the independence of having things done on your own terms and how you want to do it, and the freedom that comes with that, because financial gain, obviously we all want to make money, but that's not our fucking, we're not driven we're not driven by money. I mean, people like us, we still love everything about the music, as opposed to where major label, they're focused on how can we make the next dollar. Joe, your music, yeah, we liked it when we first hired you, but the trend is moving over here. How can we make you sound like this so we can make more money off of your fans? That's not how it should be.
Right. And it goes back to something that I've said in like past podcasts, like so many people kind of fall in line with the sound. Independently, I feel like you have to be ahead of the trend. You got to make the trend in order to stay relevant and make that kind of money and sell out the shows like the majors do. Like I see a lot of people just falling in line, especially in hip hop. That's my sole focus usually. But like the Juice WRLD sound, when he came out, he made his name, and then everybody followed. Well, everybody following, staying at about the same amount of views, you're not gaining no more relevancy because everybody's doing it. But when Juice first came out, he brought that sound to the table. So he was the innovator of it. So why not try to be an innovator, especially if you go the independent route? Because you know that's what the label's going to try to carve you in anyway when the trend goes.
Yeah.
Chad, what do you think about the topic? Independent label or major label deal, and why?
So from my point of view, it's going to be a little, I guess, controversial. So like now that I've been dabbling in the electronic techno kind of world, you know, producing and whatnot, in the techno world, it seems to be that there's a lot of independent labels there. There are also a lot of major labels. I mean, their major labels are still independent. You know, they're not part of Universal or Columbia or any of the old-fashioned labels, and a lot of them will only sign like one song.
Right.
You know, they only want the rights for one song. Right. You know, yeah, there are some labels out there that will sign you and ask you to release a whole album. But most generally, you know, you start by releasing one or two songs, and they see how it goes, and then, so they're all like non-exclusive deals, meaning that if you want to sign to like 8 different record labels, you're more than free to do so, as long as you don't release the same song on, you know, 8 record labels. Right. You know, so I kind of like that idea, but you know what? To Joe's point, and even Baby's point, and even yours, Cody. It's like, who the fuck needs a record label anymore? Nobody. You don't even need an independent label. Yeah, you know, I don't necessarily like the dude's like music per se, you know, because there's some big controversy around the dude. But like Tom McDonald, the dude is doing it all by himself, him and his girlfriend or wife or whatever the heck she is. Right. But like, there's nobody behind him, right. And he's got to be making thousands of dollars every month. You know, it seems like once a month he's on the Billboard charts or he's on the iTunes charts or whatever. And I know there's some ways to go about like buying onto those playlists and whatnot, but or those charts. But just the fact, you know, every time I like, yeah, he is on my Facebook, just because the dude inspires me. Even though I don't care for his music, right. But just how he is going about getting to the people, right? You know, I mean, there's a lot to learn. You know, there's definitely a lot to learn from the dude. You know, and there's some others, but like Tom McDonald for some reason seems to be like the one that sticks out the most because he has so much controversy around
Right.
You know, but like back to the question here, independent or major, you know, I know dudes that were in bands that signed to major record labels, and I'm just gonna be blunt, they got fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by the time they went and recorded their first album, it didn't quite work the way the label wanted it, and then they would go send them back to the studio and have them rewrite to some other style.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happens? The band fell apart.
Yep.
You know, after like the first major tour.
Right.
You know, or they all walk away, and you know, like everybody said, they owe them a ton of money.
Mm-hmm. You don't get out scotch free.
Yeah.
Once that contract's up and your money's paid back.
Yeah, actually, I was in a band that signed an independent deal, and you know, because the label never paid the studio, we never got the masters.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And because we weren't the ones that paid for it, or were supposed to pay for it, the studio didn't owe us anything.
Right.
You know, just do it on your own if you can. Yeah,
Right.
I guess that is my advice. If you can get to the masses without any major like financial partners in the background, like an independent label or even a major label, just do it on your own if you can.
And one big thing I'd like to add, just even if you don't have the funding, if you have the talent, there are investors out there that if they see your grind, they're going to help you out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to expect payment, and you're going to have to pay a little bit on top probably. They'll help you out. I mean, if they see the talent, they see your drive, they see you got your business plan. This is all business. We've talked about this a few times. It's all a business. You got to have your business plan down pat.
Yep.
And when you hit up these investors, know what you're going to say the whole fucking time. They ask you anything, you have that on your mind. You have all that, at least in the back of your mind, a response and a response right up front. Like you thought this out. You got to own it. Treat it like your business. Just like opening a store. You know, if somebody asks you a question about your new store opening, you're going to be able to answer that. Like boom, 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 boom. Same with music. That's how we see like labels like Funk Volume a few years back. They did it all independent, but they had investors behind them. Strange Music, Tech Nine, started Strange Music doing the independent thing, and he kind of started somewhat of the trend. I mean, it was happening with like Psychopathic and stuff, but like Strange Music, he started it all by himself. Now, I'm not really a big fan of those guys nowadays, but at the same time, I mean, just seeing him come up with that, it should give artists hope that they could do it independently, make more money off it, keep your creative freedom, not turn into it. I hate to say it, if anybody's tuning in and they're a fan, not become an MGK.
AKA deep fried cornball.
Where he went wrong is he should have never went against Eminem, man. If he would have not went against Eminem, he would have been fine.
Yeah, he's all right. The thing I saw, and I saw his come up and stuff. Keep in mind, I was doing Cleveland showcases in like 2008. This is before this guy was like 6'3". Huh?
Chip off the block.
Yeah, yep. Chip off the block and salute 100 Words and Running. This was before 100 Words and Running. We had met. I didn't think nothing of it. Way before Lace Up, man. Yeah, 2008. We were at a Cleveland showcase, and I noticed that before he had got signed to Bad Boy. This is just one come up that I kind of followed. So I'm like, wow, I performed with him. That's fucking cool. He's coming up pretty big, and got big in Ohio and shit. He already had the following before the label signed him. And then like flopped for years and was making decent music. Like Wild Boy and all that, decent music, but for what it could have been, it flopped. And I think he could have done that by himself a little bit better. I think the route he kind of took was a route he probably didn't want to take, but it's doing him well. He's making his money. Shouts out to him. I'm not a big fan of the new music, but teach their own. It's no hating shit.
Mm-hmm.
But just to see that, just him, kind of the movement that he had in Ohio before he signed the label deal, it was mighty impressive doing the, opening for him. People from here didn't even know who the fuck it was. Like you're opening up for MKG. It's like, no, MGK and da. And then seeing him a year later, just. But we'll get back into the combo. And we kind of went over this. It kind of goes in with investing too, finding investors and stuff like that. And I think it's an essential part. especially you being from country, Joe, you really got to focus on developing the team, because developing a band, get people you can rely on, people that show up on time, people that support you and back you 100%. We're going to talk about building a team, and what is the importance of having the right group of people around you, people that you could trust. Just like I said, to show up on time with the money situations, people who handle that stuff, booking managers, anything like that. What's the importance of that?
Are you on me?
Yeah.
So what's the importance of building a team around us?
Yeah. Yep.
Are you talking about like a street team or like your primary team?
Your primary team, the people who book for you, the people who, in your case, play in the band. Getting reliable people. What is the importance of that? 'Cause I think it means a lot.
Man, that's crazy. So having a reliable people is tough these days. I know that one of the biggest struggles I had at the peak of like when I was really like when I was hot, we had songs on the radio, and we were gaining a lot of traction as far as we were the local band that people wanted to hire. And one of the biggest struggles was keeping a band together. That was like, and that's what was weird to me, is because I was like, one of the biggest things was like, we have songs on the radio, we're getting paid good shows. Why is it so hard to keep a band together? People should like be like excited about that, but like it really weighs down on you, because it puts you in this stranglehold of like, damn, I got to find a bass player now, and before the next gig, or you got to find somebody that can learn 4 hours of music right on the bat.
Right.
Reliability is that's what it comes down to. It's super important, is finding the right people that are like, they believe in the product. But that it's not just in the musicians either. It's like someone that's booking for you. Obviously, anybody that's part of your crew, they have to believe in what you're doing 110%, as if because they're just as involved as you. And if you have somebody doing something that doesn't believe in your product, then what is it for? There has to be a reason, a gain of some sort. But that's the big thing, is just having people that have your back in a pinch. Those are the people that you have to hold on to real tight, because not everybody's in it for the same interests as you.
Right.
And
I learned that a lot. I learned that a lot with the band part of stuff. 'Cause, I mean, I had the team back in the day or whatever. It was nothing like the band stuff, though. If somebody can't show up to a show, 9 times out of 10, unless you have a backup actually practicing with you all the time, you're fucked. I mean, it goes back to not relying on show money. Somebody gets sick, even I mean, with the COVID test nowadays, symptomatic shit. Some venues, I mean, I've read it, not necessarily here, but other venues. Like there's venues out in Missouri that you got to get a negative COVID test to be able to play. Somebody tests positive, you're out of a fucking show.
I mean, that happened to you, if I remember correctly, a couple of months ago. You had an maybe it was 3 or 4 months ago. You had an opportunity to play a big show, and it got canceled because of the guidelines.
Yep.
Am I right?
It was Nelly.
Yeah.
Nelly out in Texas. It was you had to be vaccinated, which we're not gonna dig into that pile of shit. But I was like, man, I'm not, and then with all the boosters and all that shit, it definitely played a factor. But it was a huge show opportunity. But it's just like, man, come on now. You can't rely on that money, though, because I had tickets sold once I got out there. I got family out that way. I'd have broke, I paid up front and would have broke even. But it's like, man, I'm not even. Shit like that happens nowadays more frequently than it used to. And it kind of sucks. And with the band thing, like Rebellion's taking a break right now. And who's to say, I'm not pointing anything out. Nothing's happening with it. But who's to say somebody comes back not as motivated?
Right.
It's the first one. Because it happens. It's just natural. you know, maybe you're just not feeling the music. Your music taste changed, and it's just not your thing no more. Then you're fucked. And finding musicians nowadays isn't easy for the most part.
Slim to none when you're from the cut, dude.
Yeah, no shit. Gonna have to hit up the cousins and shit. Like, hey man, you still play drums that you played like 10 years ago? All right, BBG. Building a team, what's the importance of having the right group of people around you when touring, promoting your music, anything like that?
That kind of question can be best answered with experience, I would have to say. It's pretty simple. Like like as Joe has already said, you have to have people who are all on the same page as you and that all believe in what you guys are doing. It is a team, and if one person eats, everybody should be eating. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people aren't necessarily motivated by belief, but like money. But as long as you're holding your end of the part of the deal, then it shouldn't be a problem with that, you know. And if there is problems, obviously you have to weed that out, you know, see what the actual issue is. I'd say it's like going along the lines of like the contract, and that it's paramount. Having a solid team and having people that are backing you regardless of your circumstances is pretty damn important. And it's a vital thing, because at the end of the day, even if you don't have a big audience and you still have your team, that's really all you got.
Right. And the one thing I've noticed about having a team, like from experience, is when that buzz starts to die down. You get your buzz. You're getting up there. You land at a magazine, or you land at a really big show. Your whole team's pumped up about it. What happens when you're creating new material? And these people's attention spans for shit is not the same as it used to be.
No.
And then you got people who are, you know, half-assing what they were doing a great job at just because, well, we're not doing this now. It's like, let's do something bigger.
Why stop where we're at?
Yeah, exactly. Why stop now, you know, and why half-ass it? Why do we have to have a talk, you know, twice a week? Hey, I just dropped a song, just repost it. Or, you know, just if you're in a group, post that in that group. Just what's stopping you now? And it's kind of hard to find people for the long run. People just aren't as faithful as they used to be.
I've noticed that even over the years, it's not even a matter of as used to be. It's just there's just a lot of flakes in general, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The moment they lose any sort of interest in the 2.5 minutes you're on stage, it's over with. Like they're just gone. They don't care anymore. You know. Next.
Yep. And then they're on to the next one, or they find something else, some other hobby that it's like, man, you can't take it as a hobby either, especially if you're a part of a team that's trying to do shit serious. You could tell when there's a member taking it as just something for fun, or the women after the show the other night, bro. It's like that. I don't fucking care.
It's not that important.
We got to take this serious 100%, and that's just how it is. I've had that experience, and it is fucking terrible. You lose friends over that shit too, like quick. Yep. It's not fun. Yeah. It's hard affiliating with friends like that anymore. Even though I'm proud of the group that I have, I'm not even down on them, but they're a very good supportive group. Okay, Ha, your turn. Building a team. What's the importance of having the right group of people around you?
I think it's probably more important than even your talent. And what I mean by that is you know, without the right support and having the right team members in place, be it a band, be it a management team, or be it a social media, you know, manager or whatever, if you don't have somebody backing you 120%, just like everybody else already said, then you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. You know, and if I think back to my band days, you know, there's a reason why I don't personally play in bands anymore. It's for the simple fact that I can't find anybody that wants to take it to the level that I want to take it to. Right. You know, if I was to get back into, you know, my old habits of the metal music, you know, I can't find anybody to commit to it. So, you know, that's how I ended up, you know, getting into DJing and all that kind of stuff, just for the simple fact is I can do that on my own. You know, I can control my own destiny.
Right.
In a way. I'm still relying on, you know, finding fans and finding people that will actually listen to whatever I'm doing. But you know what? It's a one-man show. You know, I can try to build it any way I want, and I don't have to really rely on anybody. But, you know, back to the importance of having the right team. You know, I really hope that I can find some other people, you know, here in the near future that will help me, you know, get the name out there. You know, I know I'm comfortable in saying that, you know, I know Cody is helping me even by just having me on this show, you know, every week. Which, by the way, is an honor, you know, but it gets the name out there in some way, shape, or form, you know. But I know I can rely like on my cousin, you know, anytime I post something, you know, he's gonna, you know, share it too, you know. But just like you guys already said, if you don't have the right people in place, I mean, it's just like when you go to a day job, you know, we all have day jobs. And if you're your partner on the assembly line, you know, I'm going to say we're all working in a, you know, manufacturing environment. If the dude next to you doesn't show up tonight, guess what happens?
It's all you.
Yeah, you're pulling twice the amount of weight. You know, or you're going to end up getting sent to a different area that you have no idea what the fuck you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
part of the game.
Yeah, it is all part of the game, and it really sucks. It really sucks, you know. And just to take it to like the business side of the coin, you know, if you are in a position to where you can go hire somebody, you know, to help you with some of this stuff, you better trust them. That's all I can say, man. You better trust them, and you better have some sort of checks and balances in place to make sure you're not getting ripped off.
Oh, and I've been through that before, and especially with like co-promoting shows and somebody, you know, when it comes time to paying the DJ, oh man, I don't have no money. It's like, how in the fuck did we just sell like 80 tickets to a show and all of a sudden we're broke? Ain't no way.
Yeah.
I've had that before.
Yeah, I think all of us have been down that road before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams, I want to commend this guy. We just welcomed him to the chat. I forgot you're an hour behind us, Smoke. I am so sorry.
Yep. I thought I was getting out early.
Oh man.
I was like, oh, okay, I'm early. Check it out. Now I'm late.
You're good, man. I totally apologize for that. I totally forgot about the freaking time zone.
Yeah, I forgot too. I was like, shit, he's in Michigan. Fuck.
Speaking of Michigan, this is my new White Smoke of Smokem Records. He'll be playing in Hillsdale with us April 2nd. And this is a good topic for you to join in on because I know you got a team built like a motherfucker out there in Illinois. Smokem Records, we did a showcase with you guys in Plano. And oh my goodness, that bitch was packed. Your guys' performance was just on freaking point, and it seemed like there was a lot of Smokem Records motherfuckers in there. I was like, damn, this dude's got it built like that. But our question right now is building a team. What's the importance of having the right group of people around you?
It takes a long time to get the right team. I'll tell you that. A long time to get a team. Yeah, it took me, everybody on my team, except a couple guys I've known for over 8 years. So, and they didn't jump onto the team like right away neither. So, you gotta put them through the ringer, right. Make sure that they're worth it. I get probably 10 people a year, 20 people a year sometimes trying to join the team, and they can't even make it through the probation period. So,
oh shit.
No, it takes a lot to get on my team. I got to be able to trust you, that's for sure. So it's hard.
Yep. And to find people that actually like you could trust with if they have to handle money, you could trust them with that, or have to handle promotion. You know,
right.
Throwing up a show flyer. It's not hard, but so many people lose motivation so fucking easily nowadays. It's ridiculous.
Nah.
And it seems as if they start out hot.
Yeah, no, they gotta be able to do it all, dude. Because we're not all we ain't famous already, so everybody's got to start from the ground up and do their part, you know. But yeah, you got to get people that are humble, hardworking, you know, Most people think they do one music video and they're famous already. So you got to stay away from them people.
Yep, I agree with that. There's so many of them now. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Before we get to the next question, I do want to give a shout out to Joe. Check out his brand Young Heritage. He hooked me up at the Morency show. I do appreciate that. I am going on a little tour soon, and I might need some more from you, and I will definitely be in touch because I'm looking to we'll get it out there for you.
Oh yeah.
All right. And now talking to Joe, and you probably know a lot about this because you're a writer too. You write for others, and you have written for others in the past. I think you've told me before. What advice would you give to somebody who's going through writer's block, who just can't come up with nothing? They're just stuck. I know you know how it feels. I've been through it a million times. What's your advice on that?
Oh man, actually, I go through that. I go through that a lot, and the best thing that I can really give as far as advice is trying to go back to what got you into it in the first place as far as like writing goes. When I go through those slums where I'm just like, man, sometimes I could write a song in a day, within hours. Actually, Country Sounds was like one of our bigger songs. And I wrote that song in literally like 25-30 minutes, and it turned out great. Other songs, it took me weeks or even months to like just finish a product. And I think what happens is that when you go into those slums of like, you have that writer's block moment, you gotta just kind of go back to the roots, what got you and started in the first place, putting yourself in an environment that can inspire you, give you that inspiration back, because nobody wants to hear bullshit. That's what I've found out over the years is like, you can tell from when I first started, right? Like when I first started playing out, those songs in the beginning were more directed towards a mainstream audience, as opposed to now when I'm writing the stuff that I write now is more personable. It's more relatable to the listener, because it's a realness. It comes from a real feeling as far as what I think somebody wants to hear, as opposed to like what's fairy tale bullshit. Nobody wants to hear that. So I guess that's where my advice is like, just remember the reasons why and the things that made you want to do it in the first place, as far as the environment goes mentally.
Right. One thing I'll add is like, through that writer's block, I kind of take it as a blessing also. Just go out and do things that you like. Go out and do things where you can make stories to write about. Because I've came to that to where I think we probably all as songwriters have come to it where it feels like you're writing the same old song. And you might not like it. Somebody might like it, but it's just like, that's just not me, man. Why am I crying in songs all the fucking time, I'm not that heartbroken, I promise. But you know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, go out and do things that you like, or things that make some memories in your head. Get some influence from it, and like you said, like, remember why you did it in the first place. I think that's a huge thing. We're gonna add Jake. Jake is here, good friend of the show. Welcome, Jake Gibson. He is a beatboxer. One of the yes, one of the best beatboxers I've heard in person ever, and it was fucking. I literally thought the DJ was playing music.
That's awesome.
Hi, my name's Jake.
Hi, Jake.
It's the beatboxing Ritz.
Fucking nice.
Beatboxing Ritz? Oh, yeah.
Beatboxing Ritz.
Yep. I keep forgetting to pick on Ritz.
All right, we're gonna get back to the question though. BBG, advice on how to overcome writer's block. What kind of advice could you give on that?
A really important thing to keep in mind whenever you're going through writer's block is that there is inspiration in both the profound and the mundane. Anything in life, it could take as something as simple as taking a shower, or reading some new kind of literature. For me, I like reading a lot of different fantasy literatures. I like to incorporate some of those into my topics. And the more that you experience and the more that you read and the more that you learn, the more that you're able to draw from, you know. And it also comes from a lot of experience as well. And not only does it help you overcome writer's block, it gives you something that's more genuine, you know.
Yep.
So for me, it's expanding and making more wrinkles in your brain. Essentially, is how you do that. Alternatively, if you do other forms of art, for example, if you make beats or something, still go to that for a little while, and then come back when you have a fresh mind and you've gone and sat away from it from a little bit.
Yeah, put it down, then come back to it and see what you can do with it. If not, I mean, I've had so many tracks that I wrote, I had the vision for, that had to scratch because I came back later. I'm like, I just don't like that.
Yeah, pretty much. That happens a lot.
Then you're inspired to write something different, though, and it could be the hottest thing you've ever fucking wrote. You know, I could do better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, I know you kind of talked to me about the writer's block end of things and coming back onto some music and stuff. What kind of advice would you give people who are going through writer's block right now?
You know, so it's kind of funny, actually. The song that's coming out on 2/25 is exactly 1 year. Exactly 1 year from the last time I actually uploaded anything through DistroKid to, you know, YouTube, Spotify, and all that good jazz. So it wasn't necessarily like writer's block. It was more like being lazy and being too influenced from listening to all these websites and YouTube tutorials and all this stuff, you know, and it just got into my head, you know. Well, I'm never going to be that good, you know, where I'm never going to be able to compare my shit to whatever, you know, somebody's trying to teach you online somewhere, you know. And then, you know, about a month ago, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, I forced myself to sit in front of my computer, you know, in my basement where I'm at right now. I mean, it's kind of dark down here. I apologize, but actually just sitting here, and I turned the computer on, and honestly, I really didn't want to do it, you know. But you know what? I forced myself, and then I started doing it on a daily basis until like, you know, like Joe said earlier, I'm not sure where he went, but like Joe said earlier, just remembering of why I even started. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Next thing you know, like 45 minutes later, I got a full track. Yep. that I'm like jamming out now, like in you know, on my own, because it's not released yet. But you know, I actually don't mind coming down here and loading that song up and just hitting the play button and rocking it out.
Right.
You
well,
know?
I could see you dancing to your own songs in the mirror. You fucking old man.
That's okay. Well, you know, I got, like, today I decided I was going to bust out the old man glasses. I still got my old man coffee. And to top it off, today I decided I was wearing a button-up shirt just for this occasion.
Oh,
fancy
shit.
Guy. I see you.
Yeah.
Being professional, man. Yeah. Damn. I just got dressed right before we went live. I'm not gonna lie. I was lazing it.
Just whatever you do, don't stand up, because I really don't want to see your drawers.
Oh, man. I think I got Ren and Stimpy on today, so it's your loss. White Smoke, we'll continue the convo. Advice to artists about how to overcome writer's block. Maybe going through it.
Yeah, if you, what helps me is being around other artists. Go to the studio. You might not be inspired at that time, but that dude might be on fire, and that really helps a lot. And then you'll get a spark from him, and then all of a sudden you got a hot ass 16 that you haven't wrote a song for a couple months, and now all of a sudden you got in a booth with him. He was on fire. The beat was badass, and he went in there and tore it up, and it lights a fire under your ass to be like, hey, I got to get my shit in gear, you know?
Right.
Like my team's like that all the time. You know, we go up and down, up and down. This guy's got a lot going on. That guy's got a lot going on, and we get in our slumps. We, everybody's gonna get it, but you got to bounce back. But yeah, being around other inspirational people, man, really fucking helps for me. So.
Yep. I agree with that, and that's one thing I'm gonna jinx it in here tonight. I don't even know if he's watching. I have no clue where that guy's at. But getting in the studio with Jinx and just seeing his work ethic and stuff, it reminded me of myself a lot back in the day. Just seeing how many tracks he just had ready to go, and they were fire as fuck. And I'm like, yeah, man, I got to get back to it. This guy's doing it the way I used to, man. I'm kind of jealous, and it's a friendly level of competition, kind of too, in a way. And that's what I like about the team. Going back to the team thing, that we kind of build around a friendly level of competition. Like, oh, Alex, you got 2.7K on your video, bitch. I'm getting 2.8. It's a good little. I wouldn't even call it a problem. It's actually a really, really good thing. Being around other artists in the studio, especially with writer's blocks. I haven't put out a full project in like 3 years, so being around those artists in my collective that I have, but I mean, it's rock. It's a dude who plays the fucking banjo. There's Jinx. There's so much inspiration around that. Just one weekend there is just like you set your mind free almost. It's nice. But I totally agree with that. Get in the studio with other artists. I didn't really think of that on this topic, but now that I think of it, that helped me a shit ton.
Yep.
All right, coming to you, Jake. First question of the night for you. Advice on how to overcome writer's block. I know you play guitar. You might have went through it with that even. I don't know how it works with beatboxing.
So beatboxing, I'm just all that stuff all day long. Whenever I feel the need, it's frustrating when you're playing an instrument and you don't have it with you. So you've got your voice with you all the time. So I constantly just have a whole arsenal of sounds that I can play around with. So that helps, being able to just kind of trigger into it whenever necessary, no matter where I'm at. The guitar thing, I actually went a whole year without playing guitar at some point a few years ago. And it wasn't a writer's block. It's because I found beatboxing and that kind of took over my brain. So the one thing I can say is if you're having writer's block, it may be that you're just having a temporary shift in focus. So what I usually do is I just wait. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Play around with stuff. If you need to keep certain skills up, continue those exercises, like finger exercise on guitar, breathing exercises if you're a singer or a beatboxer, all that stuff. But I personally like to wait until something hits me, or I just kind of keep noodling on stuff that I already like to play a lot, and eventually I'll make a mistake and that turns into something. Mistakes are great.
They are.
Mistakes are wonderful.
They are. You can turn them into something wonderful pretty fucking quick. I know how that goes.
So from my point of view, also is like, overcoming writer's block. If you can nail down as to why you're even having writer's block, it might help you get over it. Just kind of like to put it into perspective for me, just talking and listening to you guys talk about this stuff. It's like I let other people influence what I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
And that like, honestly, that's a big no-no. It's like, because I am not them. And I was trying to compare myself to somebody else, which in turn then created that writer's block, because I put it in my head that I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't, because I didn't know the technique per se as to what they were doing. And I was trying to copy them, like, don't do that.
Right.
Like bring it back to yourself. And, if you can figure out why you're having writer's block, you might overcome it, just like that.
See, one of my things, I'm not ashamed to admit this either. I went back, especially for the new album recording and stuff. Listened to a lot of the old music I used to listen to. Like coming up, that shit you heard that people put when, we talked about MySpace a lot the last two podcasts, but the shit that you heard on MySpace, the people that put that type of music on their MySpace, like the fucking old Nelly. I've been listening to Nelly a lot. Luda, Luda, his hits. That dude has so many fucking hits. Wiz Khalifa, just trying to get people that sort of sound again. And that's one of the things that has influenced me personally, is going back to, you know, some of the artists that I listened to coming up that inspired me. Some of the old M albums, like just little shit like that. That there's so many ways to overcome. I think it's kind of to each his own, though. It's just something with the creative process. Not everybody's brain works the same, but it's nice to hear all the suggestions. I think it's going to help out, you know, an artist coming up, which is our goal. So,
Yep.
Hell yeah. We'll get to the
Be
next.
yourself. Just be yourself.
Yep. In the end, just be yourself. Yep. I agree with that. We'll get to the next question. This probably goes for everybody. Doing live shows and shit, building, you know, relationships with bar owners or promoters or other artists to feature on your stuff, or vice versa. What's the best way to develop relationships with promoters and other artists in the industry? We will start with BBG. What you got?
I think the simplest answer I could think of is to respect the craft at the end of the day. You know, if you like what they're putting out, let them know that you like what they're putting out. If you want to work with them, awesome. Then let them know, like, hey, I think our sounds would go great together. Or if you just like the music, be like, hey, man, I really support what you're doing. I respect what your grind is. You know, just be upfront with them. Stop, like, everybody's always looking out for an ulterior motive. If you just be straight up with people, be like, hey, I'm trying to buy a verse off you. Sick. You know, let's get to business. You know what I mean? Like, beating around the bush and trying to give people indirect and fake answers isn't going to cut it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like trying to politic around, just trying to be buddy with people you actually don't give two fucks about. It's not going to cut it. It's not going to work.
No. I think a big thing too with the promoter thing, show up to their shows before you ask to get booked.
Right.
That's one thing. Like, show up and support and be like, hey, slip them a CD. You know, it's as simple as that. Or, hey, I can link you. What's your Facebook? I know personally, I got the question for you next, White Smoke. But like me and White Smoke, we did the show for show deal, and I want to see more of that in the music industry. I want to see more of that shit. Like, hey, you get me there. That's a new base of people there. I'm gonna get you back here, and stay true to your word the whole fucking time. Mm-hmm. And that way, you guys are all exposed. In the end, you all win. And I think that's huge. That's how we developed a business relationship, me and White Smoke personally. And we'll get back to the question though. What do you think as a promoter also? Developing the relationship with artists. What do you think is the best way to develop the relationship there?
Yeah, definitely build the relationship first. Don't you got a whole bunch of people out here entitled thinking that they deserve something when they ain't worked for it. You know, the only reason why I even, to be honest, even gave you a chance because you came at me correct. And you're like, hey man, I'll get you out here in Michigan. Because other than that, then you gotta put in your time, like, because we all probably been doing this for a long time. So it's like you don't just jump in like, oh, I've been rapping since yesterday and I want to do a show. It's like, no. And any other promoter is gonna think the same thing too, and they might screen you and they might not like your shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I normally don't do that. I give a lot of people a lot of chances that don't deserve it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I want to see how I'll give them a chance. But some promoters out there, they're not going to give you a chance. So you gotta build that and make sure when you jump on a show, you're promoting the fuck out of the show. Whether you're gonna have 50 people come to the show with you or 2 people, at least the promoter. Because don't think the promoter ain't looking, because he is looking.
Mm-hmm.
He is looking, and I go down these fools' timelines, man. When I book them, and they beg me to get on the show, and I go down their timeline. The only time they share the show is the day before the show.
Yeah.
Guess
There's
what?
so much of that nowadays. Even out here, man.
Guess what that gets you? The opening slot. That's what that gets you. The opening slot.
Oh, then they'll bitch about it.
And then you'll cry about it. Not only will they cry about it, but they'll try to get their girlfriend in for free and their cousin and whoever else is with them, and then show up late. And I'm like,
are you saying people bitch about getting an opening slot?
Yeah.
It's a real thing, Jake. It's a real fucking thing.
fucking kidding me? I love opening slots. I get to set
I
the
know.
tone for
Sometimes,
the damn show.
yeah. If you can set the bar high for everybody else, man, you could be that asshole like, haha, follow that.
Yeah.
You know. But people get pissed. They get pissed. Well, you know, I'm in a little probably different genre than some of you guys. So my genre is a little different than rock, dude. Because like I've dabbled in the rock last year and stuff, and it's way different than the rap scene, especially where I'm at. I don't know how it works up by you guys really, but the rap scene down here is very different from where I, you know, like you go to Atlanta and where stuff is popping and stuff like that. And people are not, you know, they won't pay for slots. You come over here to Chicago, you pretty much got to pay to play. You know, that's just how it is. But
the thing I will commend your area on is you guys have a crowd too. It's not like you're paying to play in front of this. You're not promoting like, well, we got this. This is a common problem around here. We got this A&R exec who's probably somebody's drunk uncle who just came to the bar, drank for free, and wore a fucking suit. And you know, here you got to pay $200, man. He's from Universal. It's like, oh man, you guys actually do it right. You guys do it the right
for a
way.
local scene. Not for a local gig. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. And you gotta pick your poisons too on your shows. You gotta pick which ones you want to do and which ones you think is worth it or whatever. That's with an artist, but artists have to realize they have to build a relationship with the promoter. So, like I said, if the guy comes in and he's late and he complains, and then I'll tell him after they perform, you know, I'll bring him to the side and like, listen, look, dude, we don't do that around here. Like, we stick around for the whole show. Like, this is proper show etiquette, okay? We show up early. We show love to all the opening artists. We stay all night. We have a good time. There's no bullshit. This is how this works. You know, some of these guys, they really don't know, so you can't really get mad at them at first. But if they continue to keep doing it after you already kind of talk to them a little bit, give them a little hints here and there, then they don't really give a fuck. So I mean, it is what it is at that. Because if that guy would have kept on working hard, promoting right, doing the right things at the shows, he'll get to a point where he don't have to pay and he can get in the middle of the show and then he can get a good spot and build a good relationship with. But you have to build a relationship with the promoter. And I get it all the time. The promoters and the artists are always fighting on my pages, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, but I'm like, but what they don't understand is I'm an artist before I was a promoter, and I'm still both. I'm still more of an artist than anything. So I know the struggle from both sides. So when they argue with me, I'm like, look, stupid, I do both sides. So this is what you have to do to make this work. If you don't want to listen, fine. But you're not going to get booked, and you see the same guys making the same mistakes 5 years down the road, and they're still not getting shows. They're doing 10 shows a year, and I did 10 shows last month. Yeah. It's like just because you're not doing the right shit.
Right.
You know,
that's the thing. I mean, I'm not big on pay to play, but that's a local thing for me. You know, like to come out to Illinois, I don't mind because that's a new set of people that I'm put in front of, and I have faith in my skills. I have faith in my stage presence, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like that part of the market, which I'm not all about pay to play whatsoever. You know my mindset on that. We've talked.
Yeah,
but
now we talked.
I'm not huge on that. But the thing is, if I'm in front of a new set of people, instead of going to Toledo to the same venue I played 1,000,000 times, where I'm going to bring you that crowd, where I know I can't pull 100 motherfuckers to Illinois. That's just I'm not known like that out there. But if we can do like the show for show or shit like that, you know, work it out, and we do, and that's what I like about it. I mean, we were both in it, and we're both trying to get our name out there. Let's fucking do it, man. Right. And there needs to be
you gotta have the right mindset. If you come into it like you're entitled and you don't want to do no work, you're not gonna get shows. You're really not, and you don't want to invest in yourself. Even if you don't pay to play, you still gotta invest in everything else. This shit is not cheap.
No.
So.
Nope. That's one thing I love, like coming out there, and I'll tell you guys, if you guys link, Jacob Gibson is actually on that April show, as well as BBG, and Chad will be there.
Okay.
Link with this guy. White Smoke's a fucking solid dude. He's solid as fuck. He treated us well out in Illinois. I'm just gonna commend you on your skills. That was very professional how you handled shit out there, and that was That was freaking sweet. That was a fun ass show.
No, I'm a general when it comes to the shows, man. I don't fuck around.
Oh, I can
Hell
tell.
yeah.
I can tell. No, and to go back earlier, you said something about approaching you right. We had T-Jax in here. There's a promoter out of Toledo. He does a couple of venues out there, and he was telling us about how people would hit him up like, "Yo, I'm trying to get on a show." It's like, don't come at promoters that way, dude. Usually, like regularly, I ask for an email unless we've talked before. Usually, I'm like, "Hey, what's your email?" You know, to get kind of show offers, because that just shows you care. Using your email, you're not like, "Hey, yo, what's this about?" You know, you ain't typing some fuck shit and expecting a good response, because that just don't happen. I know me personally, I hate that shit.
No, I get. You know what I get? I get yo. That's all I get. Yo. So I text him.
Hey, yo.
I text him back. I go, yo.
Move forward.
And then I get a misspelled text about what's which show. That's all it says. I'm like, all right, I'm fucking done.
See you later.
You get no response for that one. I'm sorry. That's fucking terrible.
What's up with that show on the 17th? It's like, man, just
No, they don't even give me that. They just give me a yo. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I never talked to you in my life.
Yo.
Yo.
Like not just yo, but aggressive yo.
Yo.
And you know what's funny? And I'll go yo, and then they won't respond to me like 3 days later. And there's what? Can I get on that show? No, it's booked. It was 3 days later that you're hitting me up. Like, why are you hitting me up 3 days later?
I feel
terrible.
this. I feel we're gonna move to Chad. What's the best way to develop a relationship with promoters and other artists in the industry?
So for anybody that's been watching multiple times now, you already know what I'm gonna say. Don't be a fucking douche.
Yeah.
You need to make sure to say that shit.
Hey, it's that simple. It's that fucking simple. You know, go, like, be humble. You know, and present yourself in a way that you want to be taken serious.
Yeah,
it's that simple. You know, don't do the like Smoke just said. Don't do the yo, and then not say anything else. You know, especially you know, social media has made it so easy for people to get a hold of people that, like, you know, 15, 20 years ago we would have never been able to talk to.
Right.
You know, I mean, I can tell you that I've had conversations with some world-renowned DJs that have toured the entire world. Do you think I started that conversation by yo? No.
Ironically, probably not.
No, it was more it was a personal conversation to start with, where I didn't even say anything about, like, you know, hey, go check out my music or whatever. It was, you know, get to know them, and you know, and then down the road, once the relationship is built, you know, we got to talking about, hey, would you care if I send you a link to one of my tunes? Right. You know, but it's the same approach with promoters or venue owners or whoever is booking shows. Right. You know, like, get to know them first before you start bombarding. I mean, at least when I book shows, be it a rock show, a rap show, a techno show, a country show, a comedian show, whatever, don't just send me a bunch of links and be like, hey, I want on the show.
Right.
First of all, I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Right.
Second of all, no, I usually, like, the way I book my shows is I already did the research before I even booked the show.
Right.
Right. You know, because that's just the way I like to do things, is, you know, build a show ahead of time. Like I'm the one usually reaching out to the dudes or gals or whoever that I want on my shows. Right. You know, but you know, I do get people that reach out, and just like Smoke, just like baby Blonde here, just like Jacob and you, Cody. I mean, there are people that are like, yo.
Yep.
Guess what? You ain't getting shit back. You ain't getting shit back from me. Nothing.
In the end, communication is huge, and I'm the same way about booking shows. Like, I gotta know a little bit about you, know that you bring a good crowd to the show, so I ain't gotta worry about my shit getting shot up or fucking fights happening if you've got that kind of reputation.
Yeah, you gotta screen your people. Screen your people for sure.
Yeah, because you just never know what kind of company you're gonna bring in if you don't. It's just the way it works. And I've had shows like that where fights break out because I booked this artist and they have beef with this other artist. And I think artists forget that promoters talk. So I'm asking my other promoter friends, like, hey, what have you heard about so-and-so? They got good music. I like their music. But, well, the last time I had them, or they give good feedback. It's not always bad. Most of the time it's not bad. But you want to screen that shit because some people bring stupid-ass crowds, and I ain't trying to have that in my place.
Yep. Well, because in the end, it's our reputation, man.
Yeah, that bar is going to look at you like you're stupid.
like putting on a promoter hat for just a second. I mean, in the end, it's between you as a promoter and the venue owner. If you're bringing a bunch of people in there that aren't supporting the bar,
right,
or are destroying the bar, or got shady shit going on outside, guess what's going to happen? That bar owner or venue owner is going to tell you to pack your bags and go find somewhere else to go.
Yep.
And guess what? That venue owner already has done talked to everybody in the neighborhood and done told them, hey, don't let that dude in.
It's almost a blacklist that you don't see.
Yep.
It's almost a blacklist that you don't see. And that show, I've seen so many promoters go through that. I've never done it personally to where somebody was like, hey, he brings bad shows. But I've seen people go through it who are good promoters. They just didn't screen their people. And it's like, man, you got to at least talk to somebody. I'd have told you something, just ask me. I hear a lot of shit. I'm kind of in the loop, not these days as much, but back then it's like, man, if you would have just asked, I would have told you, man, this motherfucker had some dude shoot 3 people in the club last time he performed.
Hey, guess what, Cody?
Huh?
Don't be a fucking douche. Is that simple?
No, you.
You need a fucking shirt. I'm telling you. We got to get merch on this fucking podcast, man. We got to get merch.
Absolutely.
Jacob, we're going to move on with the question. Best way to develop relationships with promoters and other artists in the industry. You're really good at this because I think you made a lot of relationships with artists at that Hillsdale show that I performed at. Yeah, that was fucking sweet.
I don't say yo.
You're winning half the battle right now.
Let me put it this way about yo. If you saw Be Real and Send Dog walking down your fucking street, would you go up and say, yo? No, you'd be all like, oh shit, it's Cypress Hill. But you would want to treat everybody as if they're it. And you think that. I'll bring it up until I die, that KRS-One show that I played. I know what I'm not famous, but I know what it's like to get asked the same fucking question time after time after time, because beatboxing, it's the same question. How did you get started with that? How do you do that? Does your mouth hurt? How did you get started with that? No, hi, how you doing? No, what's your name? None of that shit. So I don't want to come up and be all, yo, how'd you get started?
Yo. That's exactly how I'm going to introduce myself to everybody at that show on the 2nd, by the way.
Yo.
Yeah. It's like I go up and I'm like, hey, man, how's your tour going? Is everything going smooth? Like, have you had any hiccups?
Yo.
Shit.
Yo.
How's your
Yo.
But as far as developing relationships, just be a person. Fuck.
Everybody puts their pants on the same way.
Yeah, don't say yo, people you
unless
don't
your name's
know.
Cody.
I know.
Puts it on.
But sorry, to get to the actual question, the best way to develop relationships with promoters and other artists in the industry. So anybody, I'm gonna pull the character card, like Chad. Somebody who's been watching for multiple weeks knows that I'm very, very, very ingrained in the open mic scene around these parts. I go to open mics all over the place, and one of the things I do, if I show up early or wind up there early enough, I always offer to help carry the gear in. That's a great way to, I mean, first off, it opens up conversations like you wouldn't even believe. Just offer to help with stuff. What do you need? What can I do? Get your shit in. Show up as early as you can, just for the sake of, professionalism and what's the other word? Convenience. Don't show up late. If you show up late, I swear to God, you probably shouldn't even play. But yeah, treat it like a job interview almost. Present yourself the way you see yourself in your mind when you're daydreaming of being on stage and being that awesome person. Present yourself the way you would want to view yourself the same way. I mean, I can talk about being punctual and how I was 45 minutes late to this fucking podcast.
Hey, but you know what?
Hey, we all have lives outside of here, so
yeah, I was gonna say, like, did Staples sponsor you yet?
What's up?
Did you get your sponsorship from Staples yet?
Staples,
because they are the reason why you're late.
I have been a manager for your ass since September. I am a working artist. Get on this sponsorship shit, all right? I have calls with our district manager. I can go up the chain. You don't want me doing that. I'm annoyed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just like that, we just got canceled. That's it.
Believe it. Yo.
Oh, that's
Staples hit your inbox like, yo.
Do a joint commercial where I represent Staples and Shaquille O'Neal represents Epson because we sell their printers. So I've got a whole idea for a commercial that we can do where I'm like doing the printer noises and he's looking at me awkwardly like, yo, what you doing, man?
That's fucking awesome, dude. Yo. Shaq looks over at you like, yo.
Would you walk up to Metallica and be like, yeah?
How about no?
No, you get kicked out of there. Sorry. Who wants to go
So
next?
quick.
I'm rambling.
We'll continue on with the questions. This one's all right. I like this question. What do you think your local scene? I know we're all from local scenes. BBG, you're out from Delta, I believe, right now?
Yeah.
There's really no local scene. We'll just consider that Toledo. Chad, you're out in Hillsdale. White Smoke, you're out in Illinois. Jake, you're out in the Ann Arbor-ish type area. You do
I'm
a
in
lot
Howell.
Howell. I don't even know where the fuck that's at.
I'm in the place where nothing happens ever.
Hey, there's a rapper named Bones that's from Howell. He's pretty filthy.
Oh shit.
I've never heard of him.
Team Sesh, look him up. He's actually pretty big in the underground. Like he's been around, been big since like 2014, 2015 is when he really started getting big. And he's done it all himself, him and his family.
But to go back to the question, being all from different local scenes for the most part, what do you think your local scene can do more of to be successful? We'll start with BBG.
Well, okay. As much as I'm getting slotted into Toledo slot, I'm not from Toledo, so it's really hard for me to answer for that.
It's
but
close.
I'm the only.
Come on now.
Like a half hour out. I mean,
throw me a freaking bone here.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm closer to Morenci than I am Toledo. Let's keep it real. You know. Okay. Yeah, really. It's hard to say.
Where I'm coming from, though. My bad.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. At the same time, there's really no scene here in Delta. I'm like one of the only rap artists from Delta because everybody else out here they're kind of important to it. I guess for me, just not being pompous and not being a douche. That's a pretty simple answer.
Yeah.
I guess for as far as people that are at least kind of close to the area, they need to, I think, band together more because this scene is pretty small, but it has a lot of potential to get big quickly. And so if everybody just stopped trying to gatekeep their little circles and just trying to, create more of like a Venn diagram in a sense, that would probably be beneficial for everybody involved.
Yeah, but that's been that way That's been that way forever, man. Even when Adrian had a really good scene, it was like everybody was against each other. And I think the egos come into play, and I think that's pretty much that probably speaks for everybody. The egos, like you said, Smoke, freaking the egos. That I'm up here. Why do I have to do this? No, you're not up there because you're living here still. Why aren't you in LA? Why aren't you fucking in Nashville? You know, speaking for Joe, like, and you can kind of go along with what I'm saying. What do you think your local scene could do more of to succeed?
Well, I mean, to make it out to shows, really. I mean, I see a lot of young cats that ain't got nothing else better to do, even if they ain't performing, they coming out to shows and supporting. That's just like building a relationship with the promoter too. The more your face is in the scene, the better, and the more opportunities you're gonna get, especially in your town. And then that takes you. It's a big circle. It goes around and around till the circle gets bigger. And then now you're already known out in another state because this guy or this guy came out to the show to feature with this guy, and you know it's you got to support, man. And if it's the old saying, you make time for the things you really want to do. You know, you some people got the time to do it, but they don't want to do it. You know, instead they're gonna they want to go get high or get drunk at a bar that you already been at a million times, and no one gives a fuck about you. And instead of building on your dream, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But I don't go do shows to fuck bitches and smoke weed and drink beer. I go there to fucking build my fucking brand, and they need to get their head out of their ass and figure out what they want to do. If you just want to be a fucking, well, look at me, I'm on stage and I'm cool. That's cool. Do whatever you want. But the real rappers are gonna smoke your ass, and that's it. You're gonna look stupid. So I mean, you guys. You need to be in the scene and be humble, and if I had to do it all over again, dude, don't beef with nobody, man. Just do your thing. Be humble, be positive, and just keep it moving, man. And do everything that you can to expand your brand, dude. I mean,
And that's one thing I noticed about the Illinois show that we did, that a lot of the artists were up front for the shit. It wasn't. It was chill because they were supporting the shit, whether they liked what we were doing or not. They were still up front. They were supporting. It wasn't like they were too cool for anybody, which I could tell that you weeded people out to get that because everybody has to. But
I preach it to them, man. They're everybody's pretty much younger than me. I've been in the scene for a long time, but I preach it to them like, look, when you leave. When you perform and dip, that's like going like this to everybody. And when you perform and dip, everybody sees, and I don't even got to say nothing because the other artists will come up to me and be like, hey, see that fucking asshole dip? He fucking performed and he dipped. And everybody's looking at him like, shouldn't be doing that. And they know. And I ain't even got to say nothing to them. And now you cause friction between you and that artist. And it's just like, for no reason, because everybody's like, oh, I gotta do this or I gotta do that, or I'm like, you knew this show was in progress like 2 months ago. The show's been booked for 2 months. So when you come out tonight, you know that this is what you're doing tonight. And if you can't make that commitment, then don't jump on the show.
Right.
I mean that's just for the young guys that don't know. Like, proper show etiquette is very, very important. And you will make enemies super fast if you're not doing the right things. And you might not even know you're doing it. Yeah. But that's how it goes. It's not
bridges.
It's a shitty game, and it can get shitty real quick. So
I feel it. We got a lot of that out here, people leaving and shit, and it's like, man, just
terrible.
Support. You never know that artist is on stage. You guys might sound fire together for a feature, but you didn't stick around to even fucking. And a lot of the time, I know out here, like the headliners, it's not necessarily the best that go last here most of the time. Yeah. But it's the people who are grinding, who I know are pushing this event like a motherfucker, Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what it's about. And if they're pushing their shit that hard, they're going to push that feature just as hard. So why not stay?
Yeah, it's stupid. You gotta team up with the right people and show support. The biggest thing you could do, man, is show up to a show when you're not performing, and those artists see that you just came out to fucking kick it with them and stay in the crowd and give them daps when they get off stage, that goes a long fucking way. A long way for people.
Plus, it's a good feeling because I love going to shows now. Now that I have kind of the collective that I do with The Rock and all that shit. Which shout out to all odious ones. They're out in Jackson tonight. I couldn't make it. I have my kid, but like that, like just showing up. Like last weekend, I went to a show and wasn't even supposed to perform, and fucking I got told at like 8:30 when I was helping load in sound, like, hey man, you want to do like a song or two? Just that punctuality and having that relationship with those people.
Yep.
Made a 1-song set into a 5-song set because people were digging it, and I mean, it led me to a weird story. I'm not going to tell it on a podcast, but it's the weirdest story I've ever had in my entire fucking life. But overall, though, it landed me in a good spot. Even though it was just hometown, a lot of the people knew me and shit. But still, it's just showing love will get you love, and what goes around comes around.
Yep.
Mhm.
Chad, what do you got to say about the topic? What do you think your local scene can do to be more successful?
Well, outside of Smoke and Baby, like it's fucking Hillsdale, man.
Yeah. I'll agree. I love Hillsdale though. Hillsdale always shows love, even though it's like last time I was in Hillsdale, I had a groupie story too, and it was fucked.
So like what I've come to learn about our lovely hometown is we are like 30 years behind everything. So when it comes to music, it's not supported in basically any way, shape, or form, unless you physically put a flyer in somebody's hand and you actually throw like 20, 30, 40 bucks online and actually promote the event, to get it in front of people. That's the only way that I know to get people out to shows, because I can tell you, like, I try to only play at that bar like once every 2 months, because I don't want to see the same people every time I fucking go play there. Even if I have to do the entire night, and just be the typical bar DJ, I still don't want to see the same people every time I go play. And I don't want them to be like, oh, it's just that guy. I like every time I go play there, I try to turn it into like an event, to actually give the people something that do decide to come. And sometimes it's only 20 people, and other times it's a packed house. It all depends on the season, I guess. But like with the stuff that I do, like the whole techno thing, and I have no scene in my neck of the woods. I'm trying to break into like the bigger cities, where techno is prevalent, like Detroit. But Detroit, I mean, unless you know somebody, you ain't getting in there. Fort Wayne is pretty big right now on the whole EDM stuff. It's up and coming, but they have a bunch of gatekeeping going on. Chicago, it's super tough to even get in there. They have the same situation, unless you know somebody, you ain't getting in there. And I've even hired booking agents to try to get me into these places, and forget it, But guess what? I ain't fucking giving up either. That's the thing. Being in this business, be it in techno or even metal, you have to start somewhere, and you just gotta grind it out, and don't give up, because you know what? 20 years from now, people are still gonna remember you. Even me as the grandpa of the group here, people know who I am in this town because they've seen me play in metal bands, and they've also seen me DJ, and I ain't scared to go in front of people and be like, hey, come to the bar this weekend.
Yeah.
But
that's a big thing. I think physical promotion I think physical promotion, the flyers and stuff, that needs to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna connect the artist a little bit more with the consumer, and get them more motivated to come to a show. Even like I was speaking on earlier, free merch. You know, you give them a flyer and here's a sticker. You know, they're gonna be more tempted to look you up, and it'll help the local scene as a whole. I mean, the digital marketing age that we're in right now, it does go far if you use it right. Don't get me wrong, I ain't bashing that whatsoever. But
you got to know what you're doing.
I miss having flyers on my car. That's how I heard a 6-digit. There was a flyer on my fucking car. He was headlining one night at Frankie's, and 6-digit did quite a bit of shit. We talked to him a couple weeks ago. What about you, Jacob? What do you think your local scene can do to be more successful?
I love the idea of coming out to a flyer on my car. Like that would be so, like having that physical invitation, like we want you here. I think it does come with a certain level of like personal validation, like, oh, somebody wants me somewhere. I think that gets overlooked when you get invited to something. And for some reason, seeing invitations on any form of social media, it's just noise. I'm like, get that out of here. But if I were to come out to a flyer on my car, you know, it's something you got to take it off. You got to look at it. Why is this on my car? Is it it's just better. As far as what, I mean, are we asking my personal local scene or just any?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just your local scene
So-
or any in general, honestly. Anything you've observed that you could share.
Don't say yo.
Here we go.
And there's that.
Yo.
Yo.
Don't be a douche. It's the classics. You know? I think, like you were talking about gatekeeping. Any time that you're trying to keep people out of a community, you're hurting it. Because you're trying to make friends. And the whole point of a community is unity. It's literally the rest of the word. So you want to bring people together who have any kind of like-minded thing. Like I guarantee the five of us have some kind of extreme contrast in what we do to some degree, but it's all music.
Yep.
I'm a beatboxer and a big old metalhead, and most of the people I hang around are like blues cats and country and folk people. Some rappers I've been getting around those scenes more, learning about hip hop culture and all that. But, you know, just find people and talk to them. Be inviting.
Yep.
Be willing to make friends. And especially if you think somebody's different than you, there is something to be celebrated in contrast between people. That's how you get new ideas. It's how new things happen. Discussions start popping up. You learn more. It's just better. Just be open and inviting.
I agree to that. And that's one of the reasons I met, because me and Alex, who drums for the Rebellion, he's actually taken on the role as a tour manager coming up for what we're doing, just kind of setting shit up for me, and kind of, it's somebody I can trust. It's somebody who's been in the game, knows the game, knows how this shit works. Me and him didn't get along back in the day. We fucking hated each other. Like, we were neck and neck. He had the rock band in town. I'm from a small town. I don't know if you guys, well, Chad knows, but I'm from a small town. So, like, word gets around, so-and-so said this, or so-and-so's getting cocky about this. And I think the biggest thing that we settled on when we decided, hey, you know, we're going to work together was, hey, we both had egos. Egos got in the way of us working together and actually expanding this local scene. I think that's what happened to, I don't know if you guys, I know Smoke wouldn't be familiar, but the Adrian scene used to be fucking strong, man. The Adrian scene used to have a shit ton of rappers in it.
Yep.
The LA Cafe was like the main spot, but the egos got in the way. you had guys, hey, I'm gonna run up on your show, this and that. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
Hey, you know, speaking of the Adrian scene, there's a freaking documentary about our old metal days. You
Trust
know,
me.
on YouTube.
I went through and through with Alex on that shit because I'm like, dude, they're not mentioning.
Oh yeah, I mean they missed a bunch of great bands that were all a part of it, but just the fact of you know, it was so big that somebody in today's world remembers that crap.
Yeah,
you know, and that was 15 years ago. You know, because it was a big deal. But I just want to throw one more thing out there. Like, what do you think your local scene can do more of to succeed? Us as artists and performers, don't play the same fucking bar every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, don't get pissed off because the local promoter is not putting you on every show.
Yeah.
You know, because in the end, you're going to burn out the people that do come to these bars on a regular basis. It's just all part of it. You know, I was a part of a rock band there for a while, and we played the same bar like every other week, or every other weekend, and it was like, you know what, people started not coming when they seen our name, because it got boring. You know, because you can only write so many songs, you know, in the amount of time that we were able to get together.
Right.
And so, you know, don't get all butthurt because, you know, Joe Blow over here that is like the mega promoter won't put you on every show.
And that's,
you know,
my thing. Variety is huge.
Yeah.
You don't want to book the same artist every fucking bill.
No.
Like I've had people, you know, do work for me or graphics or some kind of promo, and they're like, hey man, put me on this. It's like, man, you've been on like the last 3. Like, I'm trying to showcase more than just my collective of people. It's got to be that way. Otherwise, it's just the same old fucking song for people.
Yep. Same old song and dance. And people won't come.
The consumer is just, they're like, what the fuck? Like, I just came to this show last week. What the fuck?
Here's another thing. As an artist, you should be happy that anybody wants you on their show at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I agree with that one, Jacob.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I definitely agree.
I mean, that goes hand in hand with what Cody and Smoke were talking about earlier. You know, working together in such a way that Smoke actually took a chance with bringing Cody out to Illinois. You know, I mean, knowing that Cody wasn't going to bring but maybe 1 or 2 people, and the 1 or 2 people are the dudes sitting in the same vehicle as Cody. You know, that are out on a road trip or whatever the situation was back then. But holding, you know, holding your word and bringing the dude out this way, you know, I mean, that's how it all works. You know, and that's what the local scenes all need to do, and get rid of the stupid gatekeeping bullshit.
Yep.
That's
one thing I respected about going to Illinois was actually being put in front of a crowd, because I've been to places that I've done, you know, the show for show, and there was like 3 people there, an artist, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And like, he held his own as a promoter. That's the one thing. He provided a crowd, and that's fucking awesome. We're gonna do the same on the second for you. I got you guys. I've been out of you. So,
you know, speaking of that, there's a very select few in this area that are able to do this shit. Like, bring people to that particular bar that you guys are all going to be playing at. You know, and I've been in this town for a long time, and I booked a lot of shows in there, and I've played a lot of shows in there, as a DJ and as a bass player, and there are a select few artists that can make shit happen there, and I gotta say, Cody is going to be one of them. He can do it. Now, you can do it though. And you proved it.
I try hard sometimes.
But you know what, though? You don't want to play here every other fucking weekend either.
No. If I did, I'd just hit you up in your inbox and be like, yo. Yo.
And I'll be like, don't be a douche.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
It's happening.
All right, we're going to get to the last question of the night before send-offs. There's a question I ask pretty much every time, and Chad's probably gonna say the same fucking thing he said 1,000 times. But what advice would you give an up and coming artist just starting out in music? We'll start with BBG.
So it starts and ends with the art. That is why you are becoming an artist, right? Stick to what you like doing. Be true to yourself and be true to your craft. That is that for the artist aspect of it. That is the most important thing. You know, make what you want to make. What really resonates within yourself. Whether people or not like it, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because it's what you want to do, right? With that said, you should understand the marketability of it or lack thereof, but you're still going to make that music regardless. So just do what you want with that, and just learn how to network with people. Learn how to network. That is a hugely important thing that so many people just, as we've already gone over this whole podcast, have overlooked and just completely fucked off and neglected how to be social.
Yep. Absolutely.
Those are the two big things.
And with the tools that we have now, why are you making it that way? It's not hard to hit somebody with an email or ask them for their email or yo in the inbox, like T-Jax was saying. What do you have? Yo, I'm trying to get on the show. It's like, all right, I know nothing about you. I'm glad you're trying to grind that way, but grind the right way. That you'll get a lot more positive results.
There is a correct way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And just to elaborate on the whole email thing, is like if you're asking a promoter or an artist or somebody for their email address, it's like asking them where do they live, you know. And if they're more, if you are being sincere about it, they're more apt to give you that email address too, because like email addresses are basically your online address,
right?
You know, and we all get a lot of junk mail as it is. So if you're willing to give somebody your email address, you know, they're going to take you a lot more serious.
Mm-hmm.
Right. White Smoke, same question for you. What advice would you give an up-and-coming artist just starting out?
You are not entitled to shit. And work harder, motherfucker. That's it.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
You are not, nobody has to give you shit. You work for it. That's it. I don't hear no fucking crying, bitching, and complaining. You fucking get what you work for.
Hell yeah.
I agree with that. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that entitlement when they, I don't know. You make good. One thing that turns me off about musicians, it's like notorious around here. They make great music. We got some good music out this way. But as far as, you know, show etiquette, punctuality, showing up on time, showing up for sound check, not showing up right at your fucking set time and then leaving right after for whatever bar you're going to because women or whatever the fuck you got going on. That's huge. That is huge.
Goes a long way. All that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The punctuality is huge. I learned that through my drummer also. I'm not gonna say I was always on rapper time, but there was sometimes like sound check, sound check, whatever. No, nowadays like we were showing up 3 hours early to fucking shows with this guy, but I get it because what if you have a flat tire? At least notify the promoter. But even if I have that flat tire, I want to be on time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's huge. You're not entitled to shit.
Stone cold facts.
You can have a long list of accomplishments, but at the same time, why am I not contacting you if you're that big?
Right.
And I've had that a lot out here. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or the charging for features. I hate that shit too. If you ain't popping, I ain't heard about you. Don't even hit my inbox for that shit.
Yo.
Chad, how do you feel? I know you're gonna sound like a broken record, but
we're harping so much.
My glasses off of this one.
We're harping so much on people saying yo, but are you familiar with the ever awesome hey? Can I get on your show?
Actually,
one.
I'm gonna start my advice to up and coming artists a little different tonight.
Okay.
However, I will somehow incorporate my famous, 3 words. Actually, it's 4 words. I can't even count. Jesus Christ.
You got it.
Anyway, like, just remember, there's about 85,000 other dudes or gals out there trying to do the exact same shit you are. So don't get a big head.
Yep.
And just like Smoke said, bust your ass.
Yep.
Just like Baby said, in the end, it's about the art. So stay true to yourself. And just like Jacob just said, don't be that dude that's like, yo, what? Hey.
Yeah.
And of course, don't be a fucking douche.
Hell yeah. That's
fucking
dope.
it.
And the one thing I took Jinx kind of under my wing, invested some money in him, and my advice to him, just because he's had guidance, but not the proper guidance, I don't think. He has some flaws in how he was guided, which I did too. And it's a pleasure to help him out because he's very talented. But
hey, guess what? I still have flaws.
So do I.
I'm just saying, old habits are hard to break sometimes.
Yeah. Figured that out when I wiped bottom to top. That hurt. But going back to the Jinx thing, you gotta add some kind of comedy to a podcast, man. It would not be a podcast without that shit.
Right.
With Jinx, I was trying to get it into his head because he was just kind of like focusing on other shit, and you gotta always keep it in your head that whether you're an artist, promoter, somebody playing in a band, anything musically, there's somebody out there working harder than you. When you're sleeping, this is a Michael Jordan type mindset. I read it in a fucking book in like 6th grade or some shit. Somebody out there is working harder than you at your craft and what you want to do for a living. So yeah. Always keep that in the back of your fucking mind. That's been one thing since I've came back to doing music on the regular, was always keep that in the back of your mind. Somebody's working harder than you. It don't matter what kind of accomplishments you have, because somebody's aiming above that.
Yep.
And if you don't have that kind of mindset, then what the fuck are you doing? And that's show promotion. That's anything. Show promotion, artistry, promoting your project, finding new ways, new innovations to promote your project. There's somebody out there working harder than you at that. Yep. And that keeps you humble as fuck. Because I don't want nobody to work harder than me, personally.
And just to elaborate on that again, just slightly, it is, the older we get, and the more responsibilities we inherit, from being a adult, shit gets harder. It doesn't get any easier. If you have kids, it makes it harder. If you have a wife or even a girlfriend or a fiance, it makes it harder. If you have a day job, it makes it harder. Mm-hmm. It takes time. Ultimately, you have to, make sure your home life is good. Be it with kids, without kids, a wife, without wife, whatever. Make sure that you have some sort of income, to make sure that you don't end up living in your fucking car.
Yeah.
Okay? Or underneath the bridge.
When you have responsibilities.
Like take care of that shit first before you put everything you have into your art. Some people, it is pure luck that they got to where they are today. But then there are some that had to grind their freaking asses off just to get to their first 1,000 fans. Don't like put everything you have into it, but at the same time though, get creative as to how you're going to get your name out there. you know, especially if you have other responsibilities. You know, it kind of goes hand in hand with what I said last week or 2 weeks ago. Like right now, I don't have really any money to put behind my project because, you know, I have a 7-month-old baby and a wife and 3 other kids that I'm taking care of. So money is tight, but I try to get creative as to how I'm going to reach other people. And right now, what seems to be working is TikTok, just stupid small TikTok videos and posting in Facebook groups that are specific to what I do.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's definitely ways to go about it, but just like everybody said, don't be a douche and and, you know, and work at what you want to do. You know, in the end, you have to create music or be that painter or whatever the fuck you are, for yourself first and foremost. You know, the people will come. Like if you take yourself serious and you actually put some effort into your art, be it a rapper, be it a bass player, be it a drummer, be it a guitar player, beatboxer, whatever, people will come if they can feel it. You know, be authentic.
You said people will come.
Come. Swallow.
Same question for you, Jake. Jake, same question for you. What advice would you give an up-and-coming artist just starting out? And whether it be beatboxing, guitar, anything that you've seen?
Being a performer or literally anything you do. First off, I want to make this very clear. Burnout is a thing, and you got to be really diligent when you're dealing with it. If you put too much time into practicing something, some specific thing, shut the fuck up. I'm on a podcast. Sorry, my phone.
Yo.
If you're I am live right now. You can see on Facebook. You can see. I shared it. I'm on a thing. No.
I'm on a thing.
You didn't do.
If you put too much practice, I'm on a thing with really good people. Shut up. If you too much work into one skill or doing something, like there was a period of time where I got so into open mics that I was trying to hit one every week and every day of the week. And I was also trying to, there were a couple times where I tried to see how many open mics I could hit in one night. I think I hit Milford, Brighton, and some other town. They're all like a half hour away. I tried to hit 3 open mics in one night, and I did it. But at some point, you're gonna. I saw you roll your eyes. It was because I like doing it so much.
No way.
No matter how much you like it, you will not want to do it if you're doing it too much. It's happened to me with guitar. It's happened to me with beatboxing. What happens is if you're trying to build this up and build up your skill, and you get at the point where you don't want to do it anymore, or you need to take too much of a break, you're going to start falling back. It's like when you get out of the habit of lifting weights and working out, or you do it too much. If I keep lifting a weight, eventually my arm's just going to break and I can't be bothered to do it, or, something like that. Another thing, talk to everybody else. If you're hanging around other artists, other performers, talk to them, ask questions, especially knowing that you're starting out. And I still do this. Probably, I think I'm 9 years into performing now. I still act like this. I don't know shit. Everybody else. Okay, here's something that here's something I learned from my dad years ago. Every single person in the world that you will ever meet knows something that you don't. So shut up and listen. Ask questions. That's not the way he put it, but that's the way I'm putting it. So ask questions. Listen to other people like they know something that you don't, because it's true. And again, like we were talking about with being showing up on time and having etiquette and respect for people. You know, treat everybody the way you want to be treated in the same
Well,
way.
you know, I kind of disagree with that statement. Sorry, Jacob.
Oh God, what the fuck? I
Oh,
thought I was perfect.
Well,
How
you
dare
you are,
disagree?
you are, but like listen
No.
to treat everybody like you want to be treated. You know,
Okay.
maybe you have such a low self-esteem that you know you expect to be treated like shit. So that's what you're
Oh
gonna.
shit! Yeah, you got a point there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might like get
Valid.
beat up by your dad or something. Like you don't want that to be projected onto other people.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No.
Beat me, please. Also,
Please, I just want a black eye today.
Yeah,
But you know, I'm just using that as an example that, like, we all had to learn at some point that there's that unspoken rule of how to handle yourself in the entertainment industry, right? I mean, at one point we all had to learn that, okay, you can't go to a show and be like, yo, or just show up, do your thing, and go home. You know, there's all these unspoken rules that we're all trying to cover here. You know, so sometimes that whole, you know, saying of, you know, treat people like you want to be treated. You know, that to me, it's a very fine line. You know, because sometimes the entertainment business is straight up a bitch, and you're gonna get treated not like you want to be treated, but if it's gonna get you somewhere, you know, within reason, then you know I'm gonna run with it. But you know, it's in a way you kind of have to be a chameleon to a certain extent.
This is a
But don't
perfect
ever
example
forget
of
who
what
the
I
fuck
was
you
talking
are.
about.
You know.
I didn't think of any of that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jacob.
No, you're fine. I almost cut you off a few times. This is exactly what I'm talking about because I didn't think of any of that.
That's what the podcast is for, though. Informing.
Yeah.
It's,
Here's another
it's a good
thing too.
It's all different things.
If you're trying to be in a band or something, or you want to be in a group of performers, make sure that you're doing everything you can to pull your weight and you're practicing and getting your skills up. Don't show up being like, hey guys, I'm here to join the acapella group, you know, with your voice cracking and shit like that. Don't do that.
Flying Zoink Scoop.
Yourself. Train yourself to be able to do the thing.
All right, guys,
I'm an idiot.
we're gonna conclude the night on a funny note. We're gonna do send-offs. We'll start with BBG. What you got coming up? Show-wise, album-wise, song-wise, anything.
All right, so BlondeBabyGlitch representing Shallow Grave, man. Listen, we've got a track featuring Stevie Stone called Delicate dropping within a week or so. We don't have a finite date yet, but it'll be within 7 to 10 days. Something to look forward to. Other than that, everything else is going to come as a surprise and come what may. Aside from April 2nd, man, we're going to be up there in Hillsdale, man, throwing it down.
Hell yeah.
Bringing the house down, man. You know what it is.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, White Smoke? Send the people off. What you got coming up?
We going on tour with Chris Calico for 3 days. We got Ohio, West Chicago, and Indiana. March 19th, I got a pub crawl event. We doing 4 shows in one night. That's over here by me in Illinois. I got March 23rd. We opened up for Ritz in West Chicago. What else we got? Oh, I got our 420 Fest. We call second annual 420 Fest. We call it Smokem stock now. That's going to be on April 23rd. That's going to be rock and rap. I'm hoping to get about 30 artists on that. So that's going to be the big one. And we got your show in Hillsdale. What's that? March 2nd.
April 2nd.
for April 2nd. There you go, April 2nd, and we're in Missouri sometime in May, and Bone Thugs in May 21st, and then I'm quitting after that.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna be tired after that. I'm done.
I'm gonna see y'all in Missouri
Bennington.
too. By the way.
Yeah, Missouri. Yeah, you on that one too, right?
Yeah, me and Jinx got on that one.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. What you got coming up, Chad? Send them off the right way. Tell people what you got coming up. I know you got a new release.
Are you there? Hello?
Are you there?
You know, Grandpa and
No.
technology doesn't quite get along so well. So, but
Yeah.
no, I am working on
Okay, boomer.
actually another project that I hooked up with some dude from South Carolina. I'm gonna put like a compilation together. There's gonna be like 8 of us that are in the electronic realm. So that should come out middle of April. In the meantime, February 25th, my song Inspiration's coming out. I'm not going to do a whole lot with it, you know, from a money perspective. I'm just going to do the organic reach thing, see how it goes. You know, hopefully try to get on some playlists and whatnot. But yeah, and that title is Inspiration. You know, like I was talking about earlier, it's that song that I literally had to sit down and basically force myself to do it. But now it actually grew on me, and you know, I love it. Other than that, I got a show coming up in March at the same place you guys are all going to be playing at. However, it's going to be strictly a EDM kind of night. Going to get my buddy John Masty, aka King Kinetic, on that show, and then I got this dude called The Hair from Fort Wayne coming up, and by doing that, I hope getting that dude from Fort Wayne up here will open up a door to get back down there. So
Hell yeah.
see what happens.
Jake, what you got? What you got coming up, Jake?
So Eminem's going to be opening up for me at Wembley Stadium.
Damn.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Boomer.
So, later on this month, I'm going to be playing on the 25th. I'll be playing at the Polish Ostrich with T. Jack in Toledo. Thank you, Cody, for connecting me with him.
Nice.
And I urge you, I don't mean to cut you off. I urge you guys just add each other if you guys don't have each other. That's what the show's about, connecting and making connects.
It's good to meet both of you guys.
Yeah. Go on. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I'm playing Toledo later on this month. Also later on this month, I'll be teaching a class about beatboxing and the voice in Lansing, and then I'll be on the show with you guys on April 2nd. It's gonna be great. Let's see, Beatbox Metal, my quote-unquote innovative EP, is out on everything that you can listen to music on. Also, shout out to Killing Joke. I can't wait to listen to the CD I just got today. Who's next?
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. We're going to end the show. We'll be live next Friday, again, around 10 p.m. The time always kind of, it seems like whenever we can meet up, but it's always later around 10. So we're just going to put 10 on it. If you guys want to join, just let me know. We're going to come up with a topic like midweek. Also, I'll be doing a 5 days a week podcast starting in a couple of weeks. A few different topics. Chad, don't get all fucking crazy about it. I'm going to do a couple of different things. You ain't got to co-host everything if you don't have the time.
Oh my God, the Boomer is crying.
Okay, Boomer.
Oh. Look at the Boomer. He's
Ja, the Boomer. Sehr guten.
Dude,
Das
if you
ist
need a hug,
wunderbar.
I will drive an hour and a half to hug you.
Oh,
How quaint.
But yeah, I plan on doing 5 days a week podcasting coming up. different topics, some music stuff.
Dude, you just got too much time on your hands. If you're gonna go live 5 days a week, man.
I'm a third shifter, so that's called pre-recorded. It's gonna start out with Mike Chalker, who used to be my drummer. He is currently on tour with Randy Hauser. Moved out to Nashville and did pretty good things for himself. And I'm gonna try to get some informative shit out of him. And you guys are more than welcome to an interview too. Just let me know. We can do them during the week. I'm a third shifter. Keep that in mind. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Tonight was awesome. Tonight was a good discussion all the way around, and that's what we aim for. And yeah, April 2nd, check BBG, Jacob and White Smoke out as a part of Smokem Records. They'll be in Hillsdale with me for my album release show. And yeah, wave to the camera and be cute. We're gonna end the night with some Agatha Hag.
Oh wait! You forgot something.
What I forget?
Oh, shit.
You forgot something.
What?
Yo.
This show is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Don't come suing us for misinformation. This is all personal fucking shit.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah,
The disclaimer.
Hey, you know, nowadays you gotta fucking do that shit. Otherwise, somebody might come after your ass.
Have fun.
Oh wait, you might like that.
Hey, no.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Yo.
We're gonna conclude the show tonight. Shout out to my boy from Agatha Hag, Alex, and play his video and shit. I'm gonna have a music review show too, a music video review show popping up, and we're getting a YouTube set up strictly for the Cody live stream. And yeah, I plan on podcasting a lot more. If you guys want to get involved, you guys are more than welcome. This panel has been fucking amazing. I appreciate all you guys for joining tonight. And yeah, wave to the camera and be all cute with it. Have a good night, y'all.
See you guys.
Cheers. That was fun.
Thank you.